Did you guys know that there's a shuriken in the game? I'm just learning this. Look at this thing. I'm getting a little far away from the base. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Space Engineers. This is Ragnar, and as you can see, we made it back safely from the moon. We're back safe at our space station, and let me just pull up the marking there. You can see the lunar base is 243.5 kilometers away, quite distant. But we did make it back safe. We only had one little hiccup. That was our use of our ice stores, which was far more than expected. And we ended up making a stop at one of the asteroids along the way just to refill our stores. And I did end up getting much more than I had even left with. So we're doing good there. The stores are doing perfectly well, and we'll have plenty enough oxygen to go around as we continue to play here. But let's just jump into the control seat for a second here, and we'll check out our inventories. So a lot has been going on. I got out my little sketch pad, my my engineering pad rather, which is just fancy graph paper essentially. But I've been doing some sketching of the space station, and actually this view might do us pretty well. So this is going to be our industrial module. It's going to house all of our refineries, and ultimately what resides downstairs in the basement of this module is subject to change as we build out. We just needed the systems to be online so that we could keep everything running, have everything that we needed contained within the one module so that we could thereafter expand, which is what we're going to be doing today. And you can see here in the assembler, or rather our storage, I've been building up a lot of the basic components that we're going to be needing to go forward. Thruster components. Those are going to be going into our ion thrusters, which I'm very excited about because we've been suffering with collecting ice for every trip that we go and every which way. So being able to move the space station of its own volition will be fantastic. And we've been making a lot of headway too with our processing of our platinum. Actually, we don't have any more raw platinum in our large storage container anymore. It's all up here. We've burned through everything else. Our uranium stores are doing pretty well too. We've been processing all of that up. That's all been going into our large reactor number 2. You can see we got 2,623 kilograms over a metric ton, which is pretty cool. So down there on the bottom right, you can see our fuel time is at 74 days. That is more than plenty for what we're going to need for the immediate future. So that is great. Yeah, so all of that stuff has been going pretty well, and I've been sketching on my pad here a design for what we want the expansion to our space station to start looking like. And I'm thinking that it would be cool to have kind of a large central area. Now, you know, if we wanted to kind of take this design in a different direction, we could kind of make it look a little bit more like the International Space Station. That is basically, you know, linear, is a bunch of T's everywhere, and all sorts of different looking modules. But we're limited with the materials and the building blocks that we have. But I do like the idea of the T's and you know, these separate modules for different functions, like this being our industrial module, having all of our refineries and whatnot in there. But yeah, the components downstairs, those are definitely going to be subject to change. So we may end up moving our large reactor, we may end up moving our main storage, but whatever comes of that, everything here is going to have to be linked up by connectors. So our catwalks here that connect all of our modules. These are going to need to be upsized a little bit because I'm going to need to hide our conveyor pipes in there somewhere. And you know, maybe if we have the space, depending on what it looks like, because you know it needs to look good. So but depending on what it looks like and how much space we have, maybe we'll put some gyroscopes in there. Maybe it'll just go in the main central module. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I'm thinking of kind of like a 4-leaf clover design with a large central section. So this will be a module here. We'll have our big central section in here. Maybe some landing space in the big central section, or maybe we'll have a separate module for that. But planning out the modules is important too, right? I do think that one of them is going to be reserved for living space, so it'll be kind of more aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, large central module, and then probably branching off in the other 3 directions with separate modules whose function is to be determined at the current time. So, yeah, I'm going to get to work, guys, and I'm going to try to give you little clips of what's been going on during the building process, just so that, you know, it's not too much of a shock where I'm just like, boom, here's a big crazy change that you saw none of it happening. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work. I've got a ton of steel plates, I've got a ton of blocks to place. We'll work out the basic shape and go from there. Okay guys, let me just top off my health and everything here. We'll go out and take a peek at what we've got. Alright, so we have our large octagonal platform thing going on. And I've got this interesting little triangular bit going here too, and I like the way that this is coming out. This is going to be a large window, and I think that we're going to duplicate that on all 4 corners here. And I actually really like this inner edge too. So while I've got you here, maybe we'll just throw some windows up here together. Ah! Yeah, we'll see how it looks. I think it's gonna look pretty alright. So, let's see if we can flip this. I don't know if this is gonna line up correctly. Here, let's try from the inside. Oh, also, I extended the gravity generator out to encompass this area, which I think is pretty good. It goes a little bit past halfway, so yeah, see right there. So I can maybe move it from in there, and assuming that we stick with the basic same proportions, at least in terms of length or distance from the center, we could get away with a single gravity generator somewhere here in the center, and it should be able to cover everything that we build over there and there. But yeah, let's just finish up these windows here. If I can find the right spot. That's it. And right there. So let's see if these are, yeah, they're all facing opposite directions. Alright. But that'll give us a little glimpse of what this is looking like. Actually, I kind of like it with it being the outside and the inside, kind of a checker pattern there. We might keep it. Although I would want more clear windows. Nah, you know what? I'm gonna fix them. But I will do that off camera. So yeah, let me go back. I'm gonna duplicate this corner on all 4 sides, and then we'll play around a bit with how this is going to connect. I'm thinking this isn't gonna be a big smooth platform. We're gonna have some sort of shape that adjoins these two and the catwalk in between. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to work, and I will be right back with you guys. Did you guys know that there's a shuriken in the game? I'm just learning this. Look at this thing. I'm getting a little far away from the base. Space ninjas. Who knew? Anyway. And we're back. So let's go take a peek at what we've got going on outside. I've been doing quite a bit of work here, as you should see immediately. I have our little catwalk enclosed here. We've got some nice little lighting going on. I use some interior panels here. I just kind of like the lighting that they come with. Not that they project much light, but they give a nice little detail. And we got some nice windows. You can see both Mars and the alien planet out there from our current position in the space station. But the real good digs are... Nice job on the door, Ragnar. The cool stuff is this thing has been coming along quite a bit. Put in some lighting. It's a little on the inadequate side. I did crank those lights all the way up to their full intensity and the full distance. But it seems like the light level kind of drops off before it reaches the floor here. So we'll need to tinker around a little bit with that. but I closed everything in except for this one side here, and the reason why is I was thinking about using it, if not permanently, perhaps temporarily, as a hangar. And you can see up here we've got a little bit of a door. Actually, we'll check that out from down below. As I was tinkering around with the building here, I realized that you can do kind of a neat thing. So this, I mean, it looks weird. There's no doubt about that. That looks weird, and obviously it's oriented in the wrong direction, but you can walk directly up it like conventional stairs, which is great. So yeah, the intention obviously is going to have a door. We're going to have a door here, and up here I was thinking about doing like a command and control center type thing, you know, like a big old glass dome of some sort. Good visibility, can see all the way around, and control the flight of the space station from there. We added a little bit of detail work out here on our catwalk, which I kind of like. Initially I did have it spaced out, but just because of the length that we had decided on for the catwalk, I couldn't space it out in a satisfying manner, so I ended up going with this double pattern and then the window in the middle. And you can see down here we've got the beginning of a connector going over to the main section, the central hangar bay. So we'll figure out something for access to everything that's over here, and currently I'm thinking that I don't have specific plans to move what we've got for storage in the industrial module. I think that we'll probably keep it as is for now, and if we want to add more storage later on, we will do that. But I wanted to try this out, see if the ship fits in there in a satisfying kind of way. Let's just turn on the gyros and we'll fire up our primary thrusters, and we'll just shoot over and see how well this guy fits inside the hangar. I'm thinking we should have enough space, just judging by the size of the ship relative to the platform. But we'll see if it fits, oh, pardon me, in a way that is not obstructive. So we'll turn her over, spin her around, completely lose our orientation. No, we're fine. Yeah, I think we should be able to fit in there. Might be a little tight on the hips, but geez, you know, I really gotta watch the nose of my ships. I could very easily have crashed it just then. Yeah, I think we're pretty okay here. We've got some good space. Let's nose down a little bit. We'll bring it down, and I guess I'll have to bring that up in order to get this correct. Will those landing gear lock immediately? Yep, okay. Perfect landing. Excellent. Ugh. That was disorienting. Yeah, it's not bad. I like it. One of the great things about space too, I mean, I could park something on the ceiling if I really wanted to, but this might make for a good kind of a temporary workspace, at least until we figure out what we're going to be doing with the other modules around the station. And actually, it looks kind of small in there from out here. When you're inside, it definitely feels bigger. Definitely seems to fill out the space. Okay, maybe it's only when you're standing right next to it. Yes, look at how big the ship is. It barely fits in here. Anyway, I think this will be good, though. We could store several ships in here, depending on how big we make them. I do have plans in the immediate future to be starting on a mining vessel for sure, and I got a great suggestion from a recent subscriber whose name escapes me. I'm sorry, my friend. But he said, you know, why don't you have a mining and or welding ship? And I was like, guy, you are absolutely right. Like, I have no excuse for not having those as of yet. So that is in the plans for the immediate future. We're going to be getting on that mission very soon because I don't think that I'm going to be satisfied with the design here at the end of this episode. However, when we have a ship that we can weld with, everything will go a heck of a lot faster. So I can just lay the blocks out and then we'll fly around welding everything like crazy. We can load that baby up with a bunch of components and it should go together much more quickly, given our limited inventory size. Also, I wanted to mention really quick, I know these have been here for a while, but this actually came from a suggestion from a friend of mine. He has a channel called Protyus Games. I'll put a link in the description so that you guys can check him out. But he has some pretty cool contraptions that he's done in Space Engineers as well, where he takes the atmospheric lander and he actually makes a rover / mobile base and a pretty sweet mining ship, just using the components that you start with there. So if you are interested in that sort of thing and you want to get kind of a tutorial going for how to get yourself set up pretty nice down there on the planet, check out his channel. I'll leave the link in the description. But anyway, I am very pleased with how this is coming out. It needs a little bit more detail work. I'm not sure that you ever really finish the detail work, if I'm honest. Obviously, this is super bland. That's going to be something that we work with later on too. I think when we add other modules, we'll do something similar to this. But there is something to be said about asymmetry too. I think you'd probably agree with me. If everything is super symmetric, it gets kind of boring and whatnot. So, but we'll be doing something with this. We need it to be sealed up for now, so that's why they're flat like that. But I think I'm going to work on some bay doors here so that we can seal up the central module here, and we can move our ships in and out, and we'll be able to pressurize this whole bay, and then we'll have a good place to work on our mining ship. So yeah, I will get to work on that. I'll be right back with you guys. Alrighty, we're back, and let's check out what we got. Boom. The doors are in. I've done a little bit of shaping here. It looks pretty good to my eye. It is functional, which is good. I did set up a button panel here so that we can open and close the doors, which I will do now. There we go. Oh, I love these things. They're so cool. So, I did some shaping on the outside too. I'm liking this. It, like I was saying earlier, asymmetry is it can be a good thing. And we got a little bit of an overhang here. We've got some lighting there. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking about moving it to the sides just to get it a little bit more even and all the way up and down. And maybe making it blue. Although that would kind of clash with our orange theme here. So maybe not blue. But I just like the idea of kind of recreating what they have in Star Wars with all the Imperial ships, and they have the blue force field. Rather, they don't have any bay doors at all. But let's take a little jump in the ship and see how it fits through. Turn her on. Let's get the outside view. Definitely need that. All right. I'll bring up our tab menu. Unlock the landing gear. Turn the light on, why not? And do I dare turn it around? Yeah, it'll be alright. We'll just go slow. Just be careful. We get the space. No problem. Alright. So let's fly out. Ooh. Very nice. Completely functional. That's the way we like it. Yeah, we've made a lot of progress in this episode. I mean, we do still have the flat bottom, which is gonna need to change for sure. I mean, this is not finished on the bottom here. But, oh, if you can see there, I did move the gravity generator from over there. As it turns out, having it directly in the center here leaves a little bit of a spot on the end of our industrial module where the gravity does not affect you. So we're going to have more than one of those puppies. We might have to have one individual one for each of the different modules. So that's a thing. Yeah, I miscalculated because the gravity generator, if you recall, seeing its placement in prior episodes, it was not on the end of the industrial module like I was foolishly assuming when I made that statement. So, oh, another thing, if you notice, our speed is 0.1 right now, even though we've got our landing gear locked. You can probably guess the reason why. It's because we have no thrusters or gyroscopes on the main body of the station, so it is not able to affect its own movement. And because it's technically not a station as far as the game's concerned, it's a ship, it does move around in space. So if we give it momentum, it will keep that momentum unless we negate it in some way. So I've been leaving the power systems on our little ship for a little bit after we land, because we always touch it and give it a little push. But the last thing to check here is, I believe we should be fully sealed up once those doors close. So I'm thinking we should be successful in oxygenating the atmosphere within the main bay here. And that means we're going to have an indoor space that we can work, and I won't have to be running back and forth to refill my oxygen or anything like that, which is great. So yeah, let's crack this door. Ooh. And already you can see there it says oxygen low. That's definitely a good sign. If we had a leak in the hull here, that would go straight to 0 and it would not come back. Let's just see here. Are we gonna go to high? There it is. Hey, let's take our helmet off. Very nice. Oop, wrong key there. Yeah. So, successful day today. We did a lot of work here. We more than tripled, I would say, our interior volume that we can move about and work in. Definitely want to sort out this lighting issue because, yeah, I like a lighted workspace. Like when I'm working on something, you're probably the same way. I don't want to be straining to see what I'm looking at, but I'm liking this. We've got a little bit more space on our space station. We're not confined to this tight, cramped little thing here, which was driving me crazy. Oh, and I'll show you really quick. The gravity runs right about there. So, yeah. I'll probably build a gravity generator down on the base of this thing. We'll never have to look at it, but we'll have gravity everywhere in the station. But that is gonna be it for today, my friends. I gotta thank you so much for joining me, and thank you so much for all the support. You guys have been so fantastic. You've been leaving the likes, you've been giving me the views, and I really appreciate it. It makes this all worth it. So, yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Thanks so much for joining me. This has been Ragnar, and I'll catch you in the next episode.